Sometimes you're going to have relationships, and we want to know, and the question we're going to be asking is it a function? So we'll start off with some definitions. So we're going to have a relation, and we're going to have a function. And a relation is just going to be the kind of interaction or relationship between two variables. That's a nice pen, let's not waste that one. A relationship between two variables. That's not a very good definition. In math, essentially a relation is two variables that are connected in some way. And if they're connected in some way, then there's a relationship between them. So for example, one may be twice as big as the other, one may be 4 more than the other, one might be the square of the other. That's the relationship between two variables. A function is going to be a special type of relationship, though. Special type of relationship. And what makes it special is that every x has exactly one value of y. Now, it's not true the other way. The y's could have more than one x's, but the x's are pretty monogamous and can only have one value of y. And that's a definition of a function. Let's have an example of that. So I'll do it with a table of values. X and y, so we'll say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, because no need to be clever. Actually, we will be clever. 2, 3, 5, 3, 2. 8, 7, 2, 7, 8. 0, 2, 4, 6, 8. Okay, so one of these is a function and one of them is not. So you could try to pause the video and try to figure out which is a function and which is not a function. Moving on. So what we see, this x only has one value of y. There's no other one. The 2, the 3, the 4. Each of these, now both of these have 7, but that's not a problem. It's not a problem if two different x's share a value of y. It's only a problem, so this would be a function. This one's not a function though. So for example, if you look at these 2's, it's the same x, but they have different values of y. And you have the same problem over here. Here's some x's, and they don't have exactly one value of y, they have more than one value of y. When x is 3, y could be 2, or when x is 3, y could be 6. So this one is actually going to not be a function. So function, not a function. What I'm going to do, let's go sketch these guys. Let me grab my graph over here. So I'm going to do this one first, the function one. So what we know is we have the point 1 and 8. So 1 and 8, 2 and 7, 3 and 2, 4 and 7, and 5 and 8. So that was that one over there. What we notice is that for every x, if we look at every x, there's only one value of y, right? There's on this, for this x, that's the only dot. For this x, that's the only dot. For this x, only dot. For this x, only dot. For this x, that's the only dot. So this one, as we found out, was a function. Now, conversely, we'll actually use a different graph. Why not? Conversely, if we were going to do the other graph, so we have the points 2 and 0 is over there, 3 and 2, 5 and 4, 5 and 4, 3 and 6, and 2 and 8. Now if you look at these points, for a given value of x, so let's say we look along this value of x over here, we notice that there's more than one dot. So the value of x has two values of y. Over here also, each value of x has two values of y, which is why this one is not a function. And so this also leads right to a way that we could test it on the graph. What we have is, if we could do something called a vertical line test. So vertical line test. And what the vertical line test says is that if you could draw a vertical line somewhere and it goes through 2 points on the graph, it's not a function, because then there's going to be an x that has two values of y. And going with the vertical line test, I want to talk about that a second. It also works with continuous graphs as well. So for example, if I had a graph like this, so these are my two grids, and I said, which one of these is a function and which one of these is not a function? Well, if we do a vertical line over here, we draw some vertical lines. Every vertical line only hits the graph, the blue part, once. So this passes the vertical line test. This one is a function. Conversely, over here, this touches the line twice. It's not a function. Touches the line twice, touches the line twice, not a function. Not a function. All right, I'll do 2 more. So this one over here might look like it passes the, well, that was not a vertical line, but let's pretend it was a vertical line. It might look like it passes the vertical line test, but if it fails the vertical line test anywhere, it fails it. So passes, 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 and then over here, whoop, it touches twice, and actually over here it touches 3 times. So it really fails. So this one over here is not a function. This one over here looks like it maybe would fail. I mean, it would fail a horizontal line test, but there is no horizontal line test. There's a vertical line test, and no matter where you go, it only touches once. And so that one is a function.